Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 in the series on blue light, screen time, and health. I'm Dr. Janessa, Naturopathic doctor. In part 1, we talked about our darkness hormone, melatonin. We discussed circadian rhythms, the different responses to light, both image forming and non-image forming, and we also touched upon blue light and its connection to screen time. So if you missed any of that, I encourage you to go back and watch part 1 of the series. You can find it on IGTV and also on my YouTube channel. Also, if you haven't done so already, I invite you to pick up your follow-along freebie notes from the mailing list community. To do that, head on over to bit.ly/bluelight_takeaways. That's bit.ly/bluelight_takeaways. I'll also be sure to post the link in the video description. And as always, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. Post them through either Instagram or Facebook. All right, let's get into the content. So blue light, why do I care? There are two main compelling reasons why we should be interested with blue light as it pertains to our health. The first main reason has to do with what's called blue light hazard. Blue light hazard is retinal injury from blue light. So injury to the eye. The retina is a thin layer at the back of the eye, and that's where our photoreceptor rod and cones are located. So those parts that play a role in image formation. So it's these rods and cones that transmit the light information to the visual centers of the brain, where those images are perceived and interpreted. The next big category has to do with influences on hormones. Specifically, we're talking melatonin here. So melatonin suppression from that short wavelength blue light. And remember, everyone, melatonin is our darkness hormone. Okay? Also, remember that we mentioned in part 1 that so it's important to notice that LED light that appears white still may contain the short wavelength blue light we're talking about. Okay, so the LED light itself could appear white, but there's still likely those undertones and those components of the short wavelength blue light to that white appearing light. Okay, and two, our ancestors weren't accustomed to light at night, let alone blue light at night, as fires and flame lamps emit little blue light. And another thing I want to bring to your attention is something declared in a 2016 study entitled Effects of Blue Light on the Circadian System and Eye Physiology. It was said in this paper that white light LEDs degrade over time, leading to an increase in blue light emissions. So this means as your devices get older, they are emitting more blue light. So this was news to me at this point, and it's definitely relevant when we're looking at screen time and our exposure to blue light. This is something to definitely keep in mind. Blue light is not all bad. In fact, we'll see supporting evidence to suggest that it's more about the timing of this light exposure in relation to our sleep-wake cycles and the intensity of the light. So we see the positive aspects of blue light exposure when we're talking about phototherapy and bright light therapy. So blue light and this light therapy is being used in a therapeutic way. And we see that when it comes to seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. So perhaps you've heard of this already. SAD is a type of depression that's related to changes in seasons. It's very common for it to start in late fall and to continue on into the winter. And it's related to lowered mood and what we think of when we think of depression. So we see here blue light may be used to treat seasonal affective disorder. And mutations in the melanopsin gene may increase susceptibility to developing SAD. So remember, guys, melanopsin is that photopigment in those intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. So those key players in the non-image forming responses to light. And what it's saying here is mutations in the gene responsible for making the photopigment in these key players for the non-image forming responses to light, we see those mutations having an association to SAD. So if you need, again, a bit of a review on the image forming and non-image forming responses to light, again, head back to part 1 and take a look there. Okay, and here, daytime exposure to blue light increases alertness and improves mood and cognitive functions in a similar manner to the effects of caffeine. Okay, so here we're seeing the stimulating effects of blue light when they're not at night and interfering with sleep, being so during the day being advantageous. So linked to improvements in mood and cognitive functions and an increase in alertness. Here we see bright light exposure in the morning is helpful in producing positive social interactions and improving mood among mildly seasonally affected individuals. We see here also blue light used to treat, again, seasonal affective disorders, depression in the elderly, and delayed sleep phase disorder. These authors even go on to propose there may be potential benefit for the development of smartphone systems that suppress blue light at night and deliver bright light in the morning. Okay, so that wraps up part 2. Stay tuned for part 3, where we get into the potential concerns and negative aspects of blue light as it relates to your health.